What's up, guys, and welcome to another video. Slightly different format today. We're going to be doing a Q&A, but instead of me just reading your questions and answering them by myself, I've got my lovely assistant, Bella, to help me with this video.
Hello.
This is the first time I've introduced you guys to Bella, and it's probably not going to be the last, because I think this is going to be fun. So Bella is going to ask me a load of random questions, which I think some people have asked on Instagram, some other places as well. She's picked a couple of her juiciest and most favorite, most likely uncomfortable questions, which I'm going to have to answer. So yeah, I can't wait. Please go easy on me.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's start. Okay, first question. What's your biggest fear when it comes to commitment?
I think I'm not scared of commitment. I think particularly if I really do like someone, then being committed to them is just going to come naturally.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest fear would be if I fully commit and devote myself to somebody that they don't return it. Okay, so they don't commit to me. And it's going to be even worse if I catch feelings for that person. Like if I'm in love with that person and they're not committed back to me and they're doing maybe something on the side, then that is pretty brutal. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people who watch this video have experienced it at least once in their life where a partner has cheated or not been loyal. Have you experienced that?
I've never been in a relationship.
Oh! Guys.
No, guys. Next question. Okay. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken, and would you do it again?
I think this was probably back in 2016 when I had a pretty decent job, career, call it what you will. I had a gym. I had a successful personal training business, was making decent money, had a good group of friends. Certainly didn't have a bad life, but I knew it wasn't something which was fulfilling me. And there was a lot of problems which I was having with the person who I was in business with.
Yeah.
So I decided to walk away from everything and basically start all over again. So walk away from the friendship group, all my clients, all the money that I was making, apart from one slither of income, which was a supplement sponsorship at the time. That was like $1,000 a month. But that was it. So I walked away from everything, went back home, stayed at home for like a month or just over a month, put a website together, moved to London, and then that was when I started my journey creating content, particularly on YouTube. And the rest was history. So would I do it again? Would I walk away from everything right now?
Yeah. Would you do it again?
I don't know. I think it would be foolish to walk away from everything I've got going on right now. Maybe there's certain businesses which I have or revenue streams which I could walk away from, which maybe wouldn't make sense to begin with. But if that means I can spend more time and allocate it to something else, take another risk, then yeah, for sure I would do it. But for me to, for example, stop doing this, stop doing social media, make no more YouTube videos, stop doing the podcast, I think that would be a bit silly at this point in time.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid of taking risks. I like to take risks.
What's the next risk?
Next risk. Ooh. It'll be a new business venture, but can't talk about it.
Okay, of course. Yeah. I understand. Okay, let's go on with another question. Have you ever faced a burnout, and how did you overcome it?
So a burnout as in like just being overwhelmed with work.
Yeah.
I think there's been times for sure. I think luckily with what I do is I don't get too stressed out or overwhelmed with everything. I'm not that type of person to get worked up. But there has been times. I remember there was one time when I did it was a 3-day mastermind here, and that was super intense, just planning, being present for it the whole weekend. And I remember afterwards I was completely wiped out. Like my social battery was beyond drained. And usually whenever I feel like that, if the social battery's drained or I'm in a bit of a funk, I don't want to create any content or do anything, I usually just take either a day off or 2 days off, or maybe just take a trip somewhere. So that could be somewhere inside of the UAE, a little staycation, or just go fly somewhere for a couple of days. Take some time off. Try not to look at the phone, and just be present in nature and enjoy it. And usually after a day or 2 or 3, I'm kind of hungry just to get back into the game again. So yeah, just take a few days off if you need it.
But what do you do when like there's the moment where everyone like there's a big pressure on you? Like what would you do at the moment?
If there's a pressure on me to deliver,
Yeah.
and I feel like I haven't got, like I'm just burnt out, I would ask you for some help.
Okay, that's a good one.
I would. You just have to suck it up and do it. You gotta hype yourself up, put on a brave face, and just do the job that needs to be done. Performing under pressure, I think that's what separates great people from average people.
Yeah,
because there's been more than enough times where I've not wanted to do something, or I've been like, oh man, like I'm not ready to do this.
Yeah.
Whether it be like a podcast I don't feel fully prepared for, or a video which I'm doing, a collaboration, I'm just like, I'm not in the zone, like I'm not feeling it. You just got to do it, and you force yourself to be your best self.
But I think also when you look back, you kind of grow with it, right?
Oh,
like that's exactly the time where you grow.
Yeah. When you have seen yourself deliver at times when you've thought it's been, impossible, or you've been scared to do it, but you just get it done.
Yeah.
It fills you with confidence for sure. Knowing that in the future, if you are facing the same situation again, it's like, hey, I can handle this. It's fine.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Okay, next question. What are your biggest red flags in a woman?
Biggest red flags. Ho, ho, ho. We have quite the list. The list has become more extensive over the years. But this is just for me, okay? So my red flags doesn't mean it's like a red flag for everyone. It's just for me and my experience. So first of all, social media, if they are constantly posting semi-nude pictures of themselves, and they're like, kind of looking seductive, like, hey, fuck me kind of thing, then it just, it tells me that they don't really have much else to show, or much more value to offer. So that is concerning. Of course, someone as well who's just always, doing these stories of themselves, just looking for constant validation from strangers, is a little bit concerning. Doesn't sit too well with me. OnlyFans, of course, that would be a red flag, especially if I'm getting into a relationship with them. If somebody is rude to, whether it be my friends, strangers, staff, how they treat waiters and waitresses is very important. So I want them to be polite, to be kind. Somebody who is lazy. For me, lazy is a big turn off. I don't care if they are making a lot of money or not making any money at all. But what I like to see is them just do something, have a hobby.
Have ambition.
There was one time where I was doing some work, and instead of them just like endlessly scrolling through TikTok, they just started painting.
Okay.
They were just painting this beautiful picture in their notepad. And I was like, that was nice to see. Any selfies in a car with a Rolls-Royce logo or a Ferrari logo,
like this.
Yeah, sorry, that's not for me. Any pictures in a private jet, usually not always a red flag, but it's a cause for concern sometimes. Somebody who is, it's a long list, isn't it? I told you it's a long list.
Yeah.
Someone who is extremely volatile with their emotions. So they have the extreme highs and then extreme lows. I know women, of course, tend to be more emotional than men. That's like a given. But I've noticed if there's this unpredictability and extremes of emotions, it's very draining for me.
Yeah.
Like I've got a lot on my plate as it is, getting things done and being in the zone with what it is that I need to do. So to deal with someone's extreme emotions, particularly if they're upset, angry, sad, whatever it might be. Usually, that doesn't really work out too well for me. And one last thing, somebody who can't take a joke, someone who's too serious.
Yeah,
I like to have fun with people. I like to make jokes. I can take jokes. I like to give jokes.
for sure.
If someone's going to cry if I say a little joke, then we're not going to have fun.
Yeah, I think it's also the same for red flags in a man. You should like just kind of feel like home with the person. You make jokes and like,
Yeah.
you know.
What's your top 3 in a guy?
I would say if first of all he doesn't have manners and is not a gentleman.
Mhm.
If he's not in his like masculine energy,
Mhm.
you know, like being like a normal real man.
Yeah.
And I would say also, you know, if he's taken already or if he's married, people
Oh, yeah.
would. I don't understand
That's
it.
very common.
If it's like that's not a red flag, that's like a no go. But like you know, they're in a relationship and
It's
they
unattractive. Yeah.
like just break up and then do whatever you want. But why are you doing this kind of things? It's not fair for yourself and it's not fair for the woman, like for the partner that you're in. So I don't understand that. But it's like a big also red flag when he's not like taking care of his health.
Mhm.
Like if he's like eating junk food or like
Mhm.
not going to the gym and being the whole time in front of the TV and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you on a date?
Oh. I can think of 1 or 2 things, but I literally I cannot say on this video because it's like it's so bad. But there's one which is very bad, which I will share. So obviously, you know, when you go on a date,
Yeah.
you know, you've been out for dinner. This is a first date as well, by the way. You you know, sometimes you get a little bit gassy.
Oh,
Yeah. And
okay.
so you politely hold it in.
Of course.
So it was a good evening, but a long evening of holding in quite a lot of gas. Anyway, we came back to my apartment and obviously things had gone very well. Gave her a little tour and then she was in the bedroom. That was the last that I saw of her. She went into my bedroom, like right at the end of my corridor in my old apartment. So I went to the toilet to do some tactical gas release. But anyway, like nothing came out. And I was like, oh, for God's sake. So I came out and then I felt it come. I was like, okay, I need to fart. I was like, right, well, I'll go into the living room and just let it out. So anyway, it's like pitch black in the living room. I'd walk into my living room and then I just unleash this like really big monster fart.
Mhm.
And then I hear this giggle. And I looked around and she was sat in the corner on the chair
Mhm.
and had just watched me let this massive fart out right in front of her. When I thought she was in the bedroom. So she, like, luckily she took it well and she laughed and it didn't destroy anything. But I remember at that point, like, the embarrassment was like, that's probably like peak embarrassment that I felt.
And
It
it
was-
was on the first date.
First date, yeah.
Oh. And then has there been a second date?
Yeah, there was a second date, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's natural, but of course, it's like the first date. You
Yeah.
don't know each
No,
other.
it was huge. It was absolutely
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump to the next question. Who's your role model?
I have a few. I'd probably say number 1 would be my dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's been the best role model, particularly when I was growing up. He'd gone through his fair share of awful experiences. Lost his wife, lost his brother, he'd lost his parents, and I remember like each time this had happened to him, he always kept a very brave face. Never saw him cry. Was always positive, always like the happiest, most polite person ever.
Wow.
And I think that's to see him like that, even after he'd gone through everything that he'd gone through, that kind of taught me like that's how you should be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, regardless of how you feel, just stay strong and just get on with it.
Keep on going.
Yeah. Now I know some people might argue that's not the best way to deal with things. Like you should express your feelings and let it out if you need to let it out. But it's been good for me because obviously with my life and things I've experienced, particularly some of the difficult things that you go through, instead of me like complaining about it and feeling sad and wanting to cry and just be depressed, I take it in, put on a brave face and just get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, he's had a big impact on my life and where I am today.
How did the fame change your life?
I think, well, I'm at a point now where obviously people know who I am, but it's not ridiculous, on superstar fame level like Ronaldo or whatever. Like I can still go out and about and do normal things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still good. But obviously with each year, I get recognized more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is with me, it's not been like an overnight success thing.
Yeah.
Where I've been a nobody to where I am now. It's been a very gradual thing, which has happened since, I was 20, 23, 24. Started off with Instagram, gradually kind of building up on there. Then went over to YouTube. That started 2016, 17 onwards. And then ever since then, it's just been a gradual thing. So it's not like it's, I've woken up and it's suddenly affected me in some weird way. It's like with my physique as well. It's not like I've woken up one day and I've just looked a certain way.
Yeah.
It's been a very gradual thing, and then I've kind of maintained it. So I don't think it's changed me in any way. And I think luckily that fame has come to me as I've been older.
Yeah.
You see when a lot of these young people who are teenagers that have hundreds of thousands or even millions of followers, I think that's very difficult. I think being famous when you're young is a curse instead of a blessing, because you're not taught how to handle it, and you're young and you make so many stupid mistakes. And the problem is you make these mistakes publicly in front of a huge audience. Luckily, I made the majority of my mistakes when I was, either a teenager or in my early 20s when, people weren't following me because social media wasn't a thing then.
But I was learning from it. Like I've been watching you from
You learned from my mistakes.
So yeah, of course. I think you've been a big inspiration for a lot of people, So I've been watching it and then kind of like learning from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah. It's amazing to learn from other people's mistakes instead of you making those mistakes yourself. Yeah.
But you're the most nicest person, like, because I've watched you also, and I've been like, is he also like that in the videos? Like, because I didn't know you when I met you, but I kind of know you, and it was like weird. But you've been like you are at the moment, you're always.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
Okay. The most, I think, asked question is, when are you planning to settle down? Have a family, have a marriage.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Well, first of all, I don't like the term settling down, because settling down gives off the impression that you're going to stop exploring, stop traveling, stop the adventure, and just stay in one place and, do the thing which everybody else does. Like, I don't like the idea of that. Of course, I do want to have my own family. I want to find my other half. But I still like the idea of the adventure, the travel, not just kind of being rooted to one place. Of course, when you have kids and they're at school, it gets a little bit more difficult. I'm 34 now. I've kind of said to myself, maybe in 2 years when I'm 36, I don't want to be a father who is too old. I think there's a good age to have kids. And I think once I get to the point where I'm 36, 37, like, come on, Mike, it's probably time that you should have a kid. I think if I am, which I am, healthy and continue to be healthy, I don't think it's so much of an issue if I am getting a little bit older. And I still want to have kids, I'm sure it'll still be fine. But yeah, everybody seems to think you need to rush into this kind of thing.
Yeah. It just comes when it
Yeah,
needs to
like-
come, you know?
I don't want to think, oh, I should listen to everybody that tells me to settle down and force
Yeah.
myself to settle down when I don't want to settle down.
Yeah, of
Because then I'm going to be a shitty partner and I might cheat and I'll be a terrible dad. So I'd rather just enjoy this freedom which I have
Yeah.
now, which I've worked my whole life to have to get into this situation that I'm in, which I'm sure a lot of other men would kill to be in this position. Enjoy, make the most of it, and then when the time comes, the time comes.
Yeah. And I think also with the right partner, you can also go on adventures,
Yeah.
you know, and just like it, you would just feel it. When's the right moment, you can do with your partner, like, and do all these things, and it doesn't feel like, oh, you need to settle down, stay at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the partner I choose to be with is obviously going to be similar to me in
Yeah.
the sense that they will also like to travel and have cool experiences.
Yeah. So let's see, when the time comes, it comes, right?
Yeah.
What's the biggest mistake you've ever made in your career, and what did you learn from it?
I think one which always stands out is going into business with friends.
Hmm.
That is always, it's not that it doesn't work, it can work. I know some people who are in business with their partners, with family, with friends, and it's fine.
Do you think it would work for you?
What?
Like being in a relationship with someone and doing a business?
I don't know.
No, right?
No.
Okay.
No, because I think if you're in business with your partner, you're with each other too much of the time,
Yeah.
which some couples are cool with, but I'm not that type of guy.
Mhm.
Like I need my own space from time to time, and also, you know, if there is an argument and things don't go well, you know, you do decide to part ways, it's going to be difficult if you're in business with someone who you are no longer in a relationship with,
Yeah,
or you've had a divorce with.
of course.
It can get very messy, particularly if you are with a particularly emotional individual and you have an argument and then they just decide to not show up for work the next day
Mhm.
because they're trying to punish you. Like, that's really not a good situation to be in. So, yeah, just be careful about that. Would I go into business again with a friend? I think I would probably prefer not to, because I would like to just keep them as a friend. I would go into business with someone who knows their stuff, obviously somebody who I trust, who I can have a friendly relationship with, but I wouldn't necessarily want to get too close with them.
Yeah, I think in the past, I remember from you
Yeah.
YouTube videos.
Yeah. It's I'm glad it happened when it happened. I was 23.
Mhm.
It was when we had that joint venture with the gym. But yeah, it was a complicated one.
Yeah.
But a lesson which I'm glad I learned at that age, because I'm sure if I'd not learned it then, I would have gone into some sort of business partnership at a later stage.
Yeah.
You know, it very nearly happened with the clothing. Nearly got into the partnership with the clothing business, which would have been terrible because it turns out the guy was an absolute scumbag. So good job I did my research.
That's good. Yeah. So what are 3 pieces of advice that a man can follow to level up his life right now? Like instantly.
Okay. First thing would be to take care of your health and your physique. Okay, so stop eating garbage, start eating some real food, go to the gym. It doesn't necessarily have to be like bodybuilding like I do, but just be active, do something which burns calories and maybe builds a bit of muscle.
Yeah.
Because that way it can completely change your mindset, and also just looking in shape can help you out in so many different ways. Like, you get respect from guys, you also get more interest from girls. So taking care of your appearance is massive.
Mhm.
If you sort out your food, your sleep, you're going to feel automatically better. If you have a good night's sleep and you're eating good, you can literally take on anything.
Yeah.
Second thing would be to learn a new skill or learn the essential skills. If you are a person who has no skills, usually the younger generation, then go learn a skill. Okay? I don't think there's a particularly magic skill you should go and learn. Just get good at something.
Yeah.
But there are some ones which are quite common, which will get you far in life. You know, sales, marketing. I think People skills, very important. If you're not going to be good with people, you're going to struggle with life. So get good with your people skills. And also your ability to speak, communicate, be on camera can be massively advantageous. And then the last one would be, it's not like an instant thing you can do, but if you do, maybe take a look at the average of the people you spend the most time with, and they're just, not the best people. Like, you don't want to be any of those people that you're hanging around with. That's usually a bad sign. So I would try and change your friendship group and spend more time with just successful go-getters that are doing something with their lives, because that will rub off on you. Particularly if you're the person in that friendship group who maybe has like the least amount of money, or is, the younger one, because you have all these role models to help you out and look up to and socialize with, network with, and so on.
Yeah. I think nowadays, like where everything is online, you can learn so much just by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's no excuses really. You just have to want it badly enough.
Yeah.
It's very easy for you to choose what you put in your mouth, what you do on a day-to-day basis, who you're spending time with, and what you're feeding your brain with. Not having time is a terrible excuse.
Yeah.
Just manage your time and use it more wisely.
For sure. 100%. What's the most romantic thing you've ever done for someone?
I don't know. I don't know if you were to ask my ex-partners whether I was a romantic guy, I'd be curious to know what the answer would be. Like, I don't like cheesy stuff, and I'm not the type of guy that would buy extravagant gifts. But what I do like to do is pay for and plan an experience. Okay, so usually this would be some sort of a trip. So this has happened a few times, whether it be with my partner or with somebody who I'm getting to know.
Mm-hmm.
And it would just be like a spontaneous trip. I'd be like, hey, let's go here.
Do you have any example for us?
There was one. I surprised one of my exes with a trip to the Maldives. Mm-hmm. So she'd never been to the Maldives before. Went to one of the best resorts. And it was probably, I would hope, one of her best birthdays she's ever had. Because it was like her dream location. Everything about the trip was absolutely perfect. Oh. That one didn't really take too much planning, but it did cost a fucking fortune. But some of the other ones, which have been these trips where, I would organize the flights, the accommodation, have an itinerary planned every single day, and I would want it to make it the best possible experience that they could possibly have, so that they have a memory and an experience that they remember for the rest of their lives.
That's beautiful. It should just come from your heart, right?
Yeah.
And I think then the partner will just appreciate it.
Yeah. And I think, they definitely appreciate it.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. What's the biggest misconception people have about you and your lifestyle?
I guess it depends what platform that you're kind of seeing me on. I feel like if you've been watching my YouTube videos for a long time, you have a better idea of who I am.
Yeah.
If you come across my Instagram for the first time, you don't know who I am, you would assume that I'm probably a dickhead and that I'm, just full of myself. And I'm probably just not a nice person to be around, super serious, not fun. When in reality, obviously, I'm not like that. So it's true what they say, don't judge a book by its cover. If I am walking around the street or you see me in the gym, you never seen me before, you would make a lot of assumptions about the type of person that I am.
Mm-hmm.
A misconception as well, I would say, is that just people think, they would assume, it's easy for you. Like when it comes to my physique, a lot of people say, but it's easy for you because it's your job. And it's like, well, not really. In a sense it is, but if I had a completely different career path or job, I would be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I remember when I worked at Hollister for 2 years, when I was stuck working in the shop, my training did not change. I was still going to the gym 5 times a week.
Yeah.
It was just annoying because I couldn't train when I wanted to train.
Mm-hmm.
And I still took my food into work and was eating healthy. So I still face the same challenges and temptations that every single other person faces. Like there's times when I wake up and I'm like, I don't really want to go to the gym. There's times when I don't want to do my cardio. The thing which I struggle with the most is nutrition, because, you know, I see all these delicious foods and I want to eat it,
Yeah.
but I don't, because I'm disciplined.
Yeah.
And I don't want this temporary pleasure instead of, you know, having like a six pack.
Yeah.
And then there's many times when people don't understand like the sacrifices I've made in terms of not drinking and choosing not to drink alcohol, or choosing to leave an event early because I want to go to bed and have a decent night's sleep. And, you know, all the people out there have the same opportunities and temptations that I do.
Yeah, of
Right.
course.
So we're all the same in that way. It's just there's the choices that I make, which other people can make, but it's up to them. So there's that. And even with my work as well, like whether it be collaborating with people, you know, showing up in front of a load of people, making a video or doing a podcast, people would just assume, oh yeah, well it's easy for him. But it's still like the type of person I am. I have to like psych myself up to be really social.
Yeah.
And to do a lot of talking, because naturally I'm probably more of an introverted person. So sometimes, like when there is something planned for that day, it's like daunting, and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do this, but it's like it's my job, and I know it's something which I have to do. So I have to, you know, as I said, hype myself up and, you know, go for it. So I have got better at dealing with it and doing it, but it still is definitely challenging, you know, to put yourself out there all the time like that. Yeah.
No, I'm usually behind the scenes. And when you go to a trip, for example, like Marbella, it sounds like fun, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I see you still like sending me those workout things that I need to, you know, like do a reel about it or something. And I'll be like, wow, like everyone is like partying and you're still doing the things that you do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people don't understand it, because on the third step, also people be like asking and I don't know what, and they don't understand that you're like so consistent and like just disciplined also with the plans that you've made up. You just follow them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I do a lot of traveling, and from the outside, it looks like it's a constant vacation. But it's what people don't see is like the behind the scenes work that I'm doing when I'm traveling, or the fact that I'm still sticking to the routine. I'm still sticking to the training, still sticking to the nutrition. And the fact that I can go out and socialize, not drink. Like people, I remember when I was in the times when I go to Ibiza, people would just assume I'm getting absolutely off my face and going crazy. When in reality, no, like I like to go there to dip in and out of that kind of scene, but I don't like it. I don't let it take over. You know, I don't lose control. So, you know, a lot of people don't see that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I look the way I look. And, you know, I've not completely lost my head.
What's the most important thing for you in life at the moment?
Most important, I think being healthy is underrated and very important, because if you're not healthy, if you're sick or you have some sort of a disease, then what kind of a life can you have? You know, and any time when I've suffered the most, it's when I've been ill. You can't do anything when you're ill. Fortunately, you know, touch wood, I haven't had any disease, but, you know, I'm trying to, you know, put my body in an environment where there is not going to be, or at least to be minimal chances of diseases developing. So health, number one. Being injury free, also very important. And I think as well, it's just enjoying it, like enjoying the journey, enjoying being alive, and being appreciative of the things that you have. I think that's very important. And a lot of people don't really seem to do. Everybody loves to complain about the things that they don't have, but don't reflect upon the things which they do have.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you wake up in the morning alive, the fact that you have like no injuries, you can walk, you've got your hands, You got your arms, you got your eyes, you can hear, you can
Everything.
see, you can smell, you can taste, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Of course, there's people who are not in, as fortunate a situation as others. So I can sympathize with that. But, you can change your environment. So, yeah, I would say they're the most important things for me at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Just being grateful.
Yeah. Don't take life too seriously. I see far too many people, business people, who are just getting so like dragged down by making money or their career. And there's very few people who I look at and I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind trading lives with you.
Hmm.
A lot of people who I see who are very successful and made a lot of money, they're either miserable or they're just really unhealthy.
Hmm.
They just don't have a good relationship with their friends, family, partner, their physique, their body, their mind.
That's not good. I think just like, just you need to do it first of all for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like not only for the camera and everything, but just doing the lifestyle for yourself and being that way, and also like inspiring people like out there, but just being yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you do.
Yeah, that's why anybody doing social media and wants to actually grow some sort of a following or build a brand, it's very important to be authentic and be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't try and be somebody else. Just be you.
Yeah. When there is a will, there is a
way.
Okay, let's see. I think we've already covered all of the questions. I
got one for you. What's it like working for Mike Thurston?
What is like working for Mike Thurston? I would say also there's a misconception. Like people would assume if I work for you, I don't have work.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be like, oh, okay, he's like traveling, doing workouts. Like you just be like, you don't do anything. And I'm like, yeah. But I really, really value the respect, the group that we are in, and that you like everyone just does the thing that like he loves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone is just there. You can communicate. Like it's all like in a nice space. And also, I told you where I like started to work from you. I just do it because I really want to do it.
Yeah.
So I think you just need to find something where you really want to do it. It doesn't matter of the time or like, I don't know, money or something. And then just do it.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I hired you, because I knew you, like you genuinely cared about me and what I was doing, and you wanted the best for me. You weren't just in it because of like the social media thing or something that you can tell to your friends, or in it for the money. Like you genuinely wanted to help me. So
for sure,
yeah, it's a good group of people we have in the team.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm really happy.
Yeah. Good. So I think that is it for this first round of questions. If it does well and you've enjoyed this, then maybe we'll have to make it a regular occurrence. But yeah, thank you, Bella. I enjoyed that.
Thank you, Mike.
Questions weren't too bad, so I'm happy.
Next time, more juicier questions.
Yeah. So if you guys have any other questions that you want me to answer, then just leave a comment below. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out my podcast channel, First Things Thirst. Check out the Thirst app as well. And I appreciate you watching, and if you stuck around to the end. See you in the next video.